Anyway.
Damn it.
So that's our review for Wrestle Kingdom 12. This is, of course, mid-card mono. We got over here Sam Keola, the Wrestling Connoisseur, a.k.a. Manabu Nakanishi. And we got over here...
the loose cannon. The good sister.
A.k.a. Tetsuya Naito. The two are representing...
I want to be Naito.
Get an LIJ shirt. Get on this level. Anyway, I did. Because I like Nakanishi. And I figured Monster Morning's probably the funniest shirt to get you.
Let me just get this out of the way.
All right.
I went to go get groceries today. And the Japanese Navy's in. And nobody at the grocery store recognized Manabu Nakanishi shirt.
Nobody ever recognizes my Bullet Club shirts when I work at the airport, too, out of the Japanese tourists, so it's...
What's up, Japan? Like, for real, there's like 30...
what's going on? Yeah.
30 Navy seamen, a bunch of Japanese seamen was at the grocery store. This seems like it's taking a bad turn.
That's my reaction to that.
And nobody recognized... I don't know. Maybe they were just scared.
Maybe.
I look like Fale compared to them.
You're like
up here.
You're like
they were like down here.
You're like a lighter Fale wearing a Nakanishi shirt. They must have been just really confused.
with a Bray Wyatt beard.
With a War Machine beard.
Yeah.
Let's keep it all in New Japan.
Well, soon they're going to be NXT.
Yeah, but not yet. Anyway, so this is our review for Wrestle Kingdom 12, which happened on the 4th of January.
A follow-up to our preview.
Yes.
Which we were,
we had good moments.
We hit a few.
You were right, I think, a little bit more than I was for certain things.
I was pulling for some other things that didn't come through, but
that's true. Same here. So we're gonna go over the New Japan Rumble. We correctly guessed that Cheeseburger's gonna be there because Cheeseburger, who I love Cheeseburger.
He was also at New Year's Dash.
He was. He did get to participate in some tag team action at New Year's Dash, and of course the winner of the New Japan Rumble, someone that I don't think either of us anticipated, Masahito Kakihara, who came in out of literally nowhere.
I actually missed the Rumble somehow. I'm not sure
what's going on with you.
I don't know. I just started watching.
But Nakanishi was in the Rumble. The one remaining member of LIJ that did not have a match, Bushi, was in it. Bushi actually started it.
Was Billy Gunn in the Rumble?
Billy Gunn was not in the Rumble. He did not call his spot, to audibly call his spots.
That's sad.
Yeah.
So sad.
But a bunch of other people, El Desperado, Tenkozi, Liger, of course.
Was there any major thing that happened in the Rumble?
I think it's set up a little bit more, established a little bit more for... It's Finn Balor.
It is. Hi.
This is what our show is all the time.
Lean on that. Daddy. Yes, I'm Finn Balor's daddy.
Whoa, now that took a turn.
Oh, hi.
It's the future world champ.
So
I think I said you're the future world champ. You're gonna be the champ one day.
I lost the title today.
Yeah, but she's gonna win it back.
She probably will. She always does.
No. The bear beat me.
Okay, the bear beat you.
Yep.
Okay.
I believe it.
So yeah, I don't know. The Rumble, is it just there for appearances?
I mean, it's mostly to set up sort of
somebody's going to get
people.
A push.
I think it was a good for this particular instance. It was good showcases for some of the young lions, Leo Tonga, Toa Henare, Kitamura, who I've been a pretty big fan of, and he actually won the Young Lions Cup for 2017.
Just say, Leo Tonga, WWE will scoop him up.
It's like 7. He is actually 7 foot tall.
Once he gets, I'd say within 2 years.
Definitely,
they're gonna scoop him up.
Unless
he is. I guess he will be WWE 7 foot tall because he's like 6'8", which is also the size of Big Cass.
Yeah, he is giant.
He's a big dude.
He's very tall. And I think because his build, it makes him look even bigger than he actually is too.
Part of the Bullet Club, I believe.
What do you mean?
Leo Tonga?
Yes.
He is part of the
he is kind of
He's-
grandfathered into the Bullet
Yeah,
Club
'cause,
because
I mean,
of
he's the son of-
Tamatonga and
yeah.
Tangaloa.
Son of Haku, brother to Gorillas of Destiny.
I think he's actually the biological brother of Tamatonga.
That's what I was gonna say, but they were both adopted.
Yeah.
But,
So they're
yeah.
both there. So they were adopted by Haku, and then
Right.
Tangaloa is actually the
His-
son,
yeah,
the biological
yeah.
son. So it's a lot of complicated
Just- yeah.
family history, but
And then apparently, Fale is actually cousins
yeah,
to Tangaroa,
yes,
I believe. Yeah, legit cousin. To yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So interesting.
Yes.
WWE could just bring in the whole Tongan family.
Oh, can you imagine?
I mean,
That'd be incredible. I love the Gorillas of Destiny are probably my favorite current tag team in all of wrestling today.
yeah.
So I would love to see that. That would be
awesome.
fantastic.
And I mean, Fale is not small himself. He's like 6'4", 6'5". Leo Tonga is like dwarfs him.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. So yeah,
That was the New Japan Rumble. The first official match on the card was for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships. That was the Young Bucks, which are, of course, Matt
That was the
Jackson and
first
Nick
match I saw.
Jackson, versus Roppongi 3K, 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 Roppongi 3K, 3K, 3K.
what a start! I mean,
And
really, to the
Roppongi
show.
3K was the champions going into the match. Of course, managed by Rocky Romero. I'm a big fan of Roppongi 3K. And I really thought they were going to retain here. I was very surprised that the Young Bucks came out of nowhere and were able to make, I believe it was tap.
Yeah, I was surprised by the submission.
But
I wasn't surprised the Young Bucks won. One of them I called, I believe.
yeah, that you definitely called that. That was one
Let
of
me
the ones
say,
we were on two different
I
sides.
was, I'm super impressed by Roppongi 3K.
Yeah, I mean,
talk
right out the gate.
Talk about the future of the tag division in New Japan. This team is super impressive. And one of my friends, first time they're really getting back into New Japan wrestling in quite
Nice.
some time. And this pay-per-view just, compared to everything else out there right now, blows everything out of the water. So yeah, this, a match to start the show really after the Rumble. Couldn't have wanted a better match. I mean, this match really got things going.
Yeah, I mean
yeah.
it was, I think, indicative kind of how
Especially
the
for
night
such
was
a
gonna
long
go.
pay-per-view.
yes. But honestly,
I
it
watched
didn't
3 hours straight.
it didn't really feel that long.
It didn't. I watched 3 hours straight, and
The
I was just
pacing was
like,
really good.
wow, this is a really good pay-per-view. I couldn't believe it had already been 3 hours.
Yeah. So the next match they had was the Gauntlet match for the Never Openweight 6-Man Tag Team Championship.
I'm not fond of gauntlet matches. They're just, I don't know. Doesn't seem fair, or it doesn't seem like it really can get anybody except one person or team over. And it seems like it buries other teams in the process of.
See, I don't think
But it was a
this
good
Gauntlet match was like that. I think this Gauntlet match gave a lot of really good moments to each of the teams. Some teams a little bit more than others, of course. I mean, War Machine is kind of on their way out, and I
Right.
believe Michael Elgin might be also.
That's the rumor.
So
Relationships have kind of soured.
yes.
I thought it was a good match.
I was surprised by the outcome.
I was
definitely.
too,
So the two teams that started were War Machine and Michael Elgin, and Suzuki Gun. So that was Zack Sabre Jr., Taichi, and
rain.
Takashi Iizuka.
It's raining. That's why.
It sure
Not
is.
that Okada was in the match.
The chaos was. So the first team that got eliminated was actually War Machine and Michael Elgin
Yeah.
by Zack Sabre Jr. Zack Sabre Jr. Submitted him, basically. I mean, choked him out, so he passed out.
Yeah.
And the ref called it. The next team that entered was Chaos. So that was Toru Yano, Tomohiro Ishii, and Beretta.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of Beretta, so.
Yeah.
But they were able to eliminate Suzuki-gun.
There's with Beretta, you have the people who just aren't, big fans, and then there's the people who don't care.
so the same thing. There are people who actually actively dislike Beretta.
There's the
I just don't care.
There's the leave him or crowd with Beretta, I think.
Or he was cool with Rocky Romero. I'm in that party. I'm like,
He
I
was.
like Rocky Romero.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next and Suzuki-gun was eliminated by Chaos after a low blow by Toru Yano. So Toru Yano low blow Taichi and rolled him. Eliminated. Taguchi Japan was the next. That was Ryusuke Taguchi, Juice Robinson, and Togi Makabe.
And the Juice, what
I mean,
a difference jumping ship can make for someone.
I think this match, even though they didn't end up as the winners, was a really nice showcase for him and how far he's come.
Definitely.
Just from the span of a year, because last year he had the match with Cody. He lost. But, this year he had a little bit more on the table as far as what he was competing for and an ability an opportunity to showcase his increased abilities. So I
have a feeling we'll definitely see Juice back in WWE at some point.
If he would choose to go, that's the thing.
Yeah, he may choose to stay in Japan.
Japan seems to be really high on him, and I think they have big plans for him.
And that's the interesting thing. Like sometimes you will get a Western wrestler that is more over in Japan than he would ever be in the States.
Oh yeah.
And we can look at Stan Hansen, who actually had an opportunity to come back to the States or work WWF. They wanted him, I believe, to do a program with Hogan at the time, but he was already committed to All Japan, I believe it was. And so he kind of missed out that opportunity. Who knows? Hansen could have maybe been one of the reigns that we saw Hogan, decrowned in. But Hansen made a career of Japan.
He did.
Very notorious career in Japan. Legendary.
Very popular, actually, with a lot of the foreign wrestlers in Japan.
So that's why everybody uses the lair hit. So who knows? Juice Robinson may pull that off as well.
Fingers crossed.
I'm sure he has his fingers crossed.
Unfortunately, Taguchi Japan was also eliminated. Ryusuke Taguchi, after receiving a low blow by Toru Yano yet again, was pinned, and Taguchi Japan was eliminated. And then finally, the current champions going in, Tamatonga, Tangaloa, and Bad Luck Fale, entered in. And again, with another, following another low blow, but then Beretta came in and hit the Dude Buster. So Beretta got the pin on my favorite member of God, Tamatonga.
It didn't look like it was going to happen.
Now I outright hate him. No,
it really didn't look like it was going to happen.
It was very surprising. That was probably the outcome that was the most surprising to me, honestly.
Yeah. 'Cause I thought they would have it in the hole. But, yeah.
Toru Yano just coming in, punching people in the balls, and just running away with championships.
And not to give anything away for New Year's Dash, but we will come back to this.
Yes.
At the end, real quickly.
We sure will. So the next match that came up was Kota Ibushi versus Cody.
I really enjoyed this match.
This was really good. I think from entrances to exits.
Yeah.
Even the entrances were excellent.
It was just so entertaining on all levels.
Brandy Rhodes made it for me. Walking was like, we're the people we want that you guys want to see. and I am the most beautiful woman in wrestling. And if you don't think, and if you disagree, you are just a simple mark.
I still stand by that. This match could very well be the match of the night. It felt like it for me, and I kind of called it beforehand, so I was possibly biased, but stiff competition.
Yes, I mean this was
a really good
an incredible match. I think everything came together.
You had two very charismatic wrestlers.
Definitely, that was part of it. Brandy Rhodes also.
Mm-hmm.
The story that they were telling, I think, also helped
a
whole lot.
Yeah.
I think when Kota went to go hit Cody and then hit Brandy too. And then Brandy was on the ground, passed out. And then he's like, oh God, no! And he like picks her up
like Frankenstein would carry on.
It was so good. And I love Kota. I love him so much.
Yeah.
He's probably,
of course, Cody
my
Cody
favorite
attacks.
wrestler today is Kota. And then you find out that Brandy was playing possum
all along. They're laughing on the floor.
It was great.
It was
really good work. Really good heel work.
There was a lot of good spots in the match.
Oh gosh, I mean,
not to just break this match down for everything, but definitely one to watch. Yeah.
If you can only watch us like maybe 3 or 4 matches from Wrestle Kingdom, this definitely has to be one of them. It was really good. And it's funny because it was probably one of the best matches of the night, which is high praise, and it wasn't for a title.
Yeah, it wasn't for a title. I felt it didn't go longer than it should have.
Yeah, it was a good amount.
Matches,
it was a little over 15 minutes.
Some matches were a little long. I thought that probably will go down as people saying, "Oh, this is a 5-star match. This is the match of the night." This match, for the time they were given, the time they took, told a great story and was extremely entertaining and had a couple of fake finishes and did the job. For its spot on the card and everything too.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, I was really big fan of it.
Cody did not win.
Oh gosh, no.
Which we call it. We knew Cody was
my
going to
man.
win.
Kota Ibushi needed to win. Kota Ibushi needed to push.
And I'm not sure where it goes.
We're gonna when we talk about New Year's Dash.
But it all ties in.
We'll come back to it, but we're gonna move further along the card now. So the next match was for the IWGP Tag Team Championships. That was Killer Elite Squad, your guys, Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer versus Los Ingobernables de Japón, Evil and Sonata, my guys. Mm-hmm. So it was looking like it was gonna be KS for a good amount of this match.
Killer Elite Squad looked great.
Yeah,
I mean they have come so far as a tag team, as just both of them wrestlers in general.
I think incredible heel work for both of them in here. But I mean, I gotta give it to Davey Boy Smith Jr.
I'm asking Angie.
What's that?
Eraser?
That's yours. But those are cool erasers.
Yeah, mine.
Maybe after.
But I think my favorite spot from Davey Boy Smith Jr. is when he's got, I believe it was Sonata in a hold, and then he actually taps him out, and he was like, he tapped out, God. He tapped out, he's done, tapped out. And I was just like, it's amazing.
And I'm watching it, and I'm thinking this is probably the best heel work of any Hart or Smith, anybody in that whole family has ever done, and that's saying a lot, but. To have somebody the size of Davey Boy Smith, who is just 6'4", 6'5", I don't know, he's probably 280.
Huge.
Big guy.
He's a really big guy.
I just heard everything fall. And what he can actually do in the ring, and to see some heel work that good from him was great.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
I gained
a
new level of appreciation.
Because, the guy tapped out.
It's gross.
He did. He tapped. I saw it.
I'm a fan of, I think I've mentioned this in our preview video, but over this past year I've gained a lot of respect for Evil. and we got to see him rally, and it was actually really interesting to see them as sort of the faces, the underdogs of this match, because LIJ has been seen as such a dominant force.
Right.
That
I have this feeling
to
like
see it
they're
reversed.
coming up underneath as this almost underdog babyface group.
Yeah.
Really.
No, and I mean it's something that the whole group is going through this all at once.
All at once.
So it's very interesting.
They're becoming very popular.
Yeah.
All of them.
They're
really.
probably the most popular stable. I mean, each and every single one of them, because they were chanting for Evil and Sonata
Definitely
during this match.
In Japan. I mean, like Bullet
Club.
Club.
Yes, definitely. In
globally,
specifically
Bullet Club is probably
with their
popular,
local audience in Japan. LIJ is probably the most popular.
And it's interesting, like, how will this pan into a company that's wanting to go global? You know, they're looking for ways to move into the U.S. market and stuff. So do you pander more to your local audience, or do you try to pander to a larger audience? Or, where do you draw that line and try to do both? It's fun. It's fun to watch, to see where they go with that.
Well, it's an interesting split, too, because, the people that are considered the smarks in Japan are the Bullet Club nerds.
Right.
And the people that are considered smarks here are like those that are more into LIJ or Chaos or
more
the other
the local.
Yeah. So it's very interesting that sort of dichotomy that we have here.
But what's nice about it is that it makes it a little bit less unpredictable, unlike the U.S. market, where you can almost guarantee to call every pay-per-view that is booked straight down the card.
Yeah.
It makes it really interesting because going forward.
And I greatly enjoyed the things that surprised me here. For the most part, there were some things that surprised me that I was a little bit sad about, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Okay.
All right. So the next match was the hair versus hair, no seconds death match for the Never Openweight Championship. That was Minoru Suzuki versus Hiroki Goto. So Goto was looking rough in the beginning of the match. Like for most of the match, I was pretty sure that it was that it was going to be Suzuki.
I felt like either way they went, Goto could get over from this angle. But yeah, I think you were like, there's no way Suzuki could lose his legendary.
I was very surprised, but I was also hoping that Goto would get it.
Yeah.
So
Good
I was
match too.
Yeah, and I mean, like, this isn't going to be the same sort of high paced.
It wasn't a pretty match.
Yeah, it's not going to be like the high paced, like high flying match like you would get from the Young Bucks in Roppongi 3K or
Misu versus Goto.
Yeah.
And I mean,
but the
hard hitting.
The story was there, and it was probably the best story that was told, I felt, because it got you so emotionally invested.
Yeah.
And especially from top to bottom, seeing Goto just get completely worked over in the early in the match, and you're just like,
before the bell even rings.
Yeah, there's no way that he's gonna
he's
gonna
win.
Got
destroyed before the match even started, which looked like it was over.
And he rallies.
Yeah.
For most of the match, it's watching him try and rally to get that momentum going, and once he does, and it's almost right at the very end, it sort of comes off as he's tired out Suzuki.
And I love both of these guys.
Both of them are insanely talented.
For his age, Minoru
Suzuki is incredible for his age.
Well, I mean, for his age, we'll never get to see him like really in a like WWE ring. I mean, we've seen him in ROH, I believe.
Yeah.
Which is a huge shame because I would love to see like Suzuki versus Samoa Joe or a couple other wrestlers.
The WWE would short circuit having to work with Suzuki because they would have no idea what to do.
They would have no idea what to do, but if he went into business for himself, he would just kill whoever was in the ring with him.
Like literally.
Yeah, like
just kill them.
They wouldn't stand a chance at all. Like you'd have huge John Cena there with Misu and Misu would just destroy him. He would just slap the shit out of him. And Cena be like,
and that's what I think made it.
You don't need your scissors right now. Wait till I'm done.
But that's what I think made the outcome so surprising.
Yeah.
Is because Suzuki is so known for being really a stiff worker and being so brutal. The fact that Goto was able to endure and overcome.
Goto is great. I've always been sad that they never pulled the trigger on Goto as an ace. Because I felt like he was positioned to be such after Tanahashi and Shinsuke, and for him to not get that shot, and Okada and to a degree Naito's has been coming up, and has gotten the world title before. Goto's never achieved that stature in his career yet, so I don't know if he ever will, or if he'll always remain as the kind of go-to guy to get the next person over, or what. But it was good to see they're pushing him still.
I was glad, because I think he wanted. They had made a big deal of talking about how he.
Relevant.
I mean, they made a big deal about talking about how he won it from Shibata last year at Wrestle Kingdom,
which was huge in of itself.
It would have been great if Shibata came and just congratulated him.
That would have been huge too.
I would have cried.
The whole place would have erupted.
And it was nice because as
and then Misu got pile drive Shibata, and everybody be like,
oh, and Shibata's just dead in the ring,
broken in half.
Oh man,
hemorrhaging.
that'd be incredible. I would cry.
And Misu laugh.
I would be I'd be so confused as to being happy or sad.
But just shoot yourself. I don't know what to do.
But the thing that I liked actually was Suzuki-gun was taking him out of the ring and taking him away before he shaved his head, and then he sort of realizes, he's sort of dazed, and he realizes it, and he sort of shoves him off, and he goes back to the ring himself.
Sits down in the chair.
Yeah. They set up a chair. Head. He hits the chair away, puts up his own chair. He shaves it, not neatly or anything.
It wasn't he was so sweaty. It wasn't even shaving at first, and he had to go straight to the duck.
And then there's half the ducktail still there, and half the
he slams it on the chair and he leaves.
It's great.
Yeah,
it was great. I loved it, and I was really surprised. I was like, oh, man of honor. Man of honor. And my dad actually, because I watched it with my dad, as they were leading Suzuki away, he's like, oh man, no can do that. I thought Suzuki would just man up.
He did.
And then he turned around, my dad, and I was like, oh, what's he doing? He's like, see? He's an honor thing, brah. And I was just like, okay, Dad.
Suzuki's he's a badass.
He is.
You're talking about a guy
he's an honorable, brutal badass
who started Pancrase in Japan,
and I
legit made Ken Shamrock tap twice.
When it's all about him doing it on his own terms, which I respect a lot.
Well, I mean, outside of wrestling.
Oh yeah,
Suzuki's he's the man. Yeah, good match. Yeah, like you said, probably the best storytelling match on the card.
I mean, I think so. And that's with all these other matches that had huge stories also.
It was crazy the amount of storytelling in this pay-per-view and it went a long way because nothing was boring.
Yeah.
There was no moment of...
Why is this happening?
I couldn't watch the whole thing for other reasons, not because I didn't want to watch or that I got bored or anything. And, I mean, that says a lot for, what was it total, about 4 hours?
I think so.
5-hour pay-per-view.
It's about.
And I find it difficult to sit through WrestleMania.
It didn't even feel like 4 hours. That was also the thing. Everything was so fast paced. Even when they were moving slowly, they were moving with such purpose.
Yeah.
That it didn't feel like anything dragged.
Yeah, I mean, WrestleMania has its challenge straight out of the gate for this. I mean,
but WrestleMania is more of you're gonna hang out with people and drink and eat and half watch some matches and then be really invested in other matches. Whereas this one, it's really from top to bottom.
But this was
you're invested in almost every single match.
It's a wrestling pay-per-view. You know what I mean? It's WrestleMania has become this celebrity filled thing. And Wrestle Kingdom is the pay-per-view of the year, really. Stop! We're trying to record stuff here.
I'm
Sicko.
just dying.
I know.
My allergies, man.
So, what was
So
next?
the next match was the Fatal 4-Way for the IWGP
yes.
Junior Heavyweight Championship.
I wasn't
So
sure
that
how
was
this one was going to pan out because
Kushida
it's a fatal
versus
four-way.
Takahashi versus Will Ospreay versus the current champion going in, Marty Scurll. All of them had kind of excellent entrances. I really liked a lot. I'm a big fan of Takahashi.
I felt this was probably the most glamorous, exciting junior heavyweight title match they've had in a long time.
Oh, undoubtedly.
I mean, like, it's always
Marty
been on the
with
card
the giant
before.
wings and everything.
Yeah, it's always been on the card most of the years. I think maybe once or twice it wasn't defended, but it's never been like a match like on top of the list, like must see or anything for me. Not in a long time.
I was like, this one definitely to me.
This was
I was
huge,
excited for this match, and this
Huge
one
match.
too was another bit of storytelling because all four of these men have been fighting for this belt for all of last year. Takahashi won it at Wrestle Kingdom 11, and then it kind of passed back and forth between him, Kushida, and then Ospreay. When Ospreay finally was injected into the mix, and he didn't successfully get it for quite some time. When he finally did at King of Pro Wrestling, the next show they had, Power Struggle, was when he dropped it to Marty Scurll. And Marty and Ospreay kind of have had a long sort of rivalry throughout British wrestling. So it was sort of Marty's thing where he went up to Ospreay and was like, "Oh yeah, well, I'm gonna beat you for that title anyway."
And you don't even have to know all this background stuff to enjoy the match.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, a lot of people may be
It
familiar
added
with
to it,
names,
but it wasn't.
but
It wasn't contingent
it was
on
a
it.
good match.
It was a really good match. I think each person had their moment to show why they
Definitely.
deserved to win. Like I said, I'm a huge Takahashi fan. I've loved him since he was Kamaitachi, and I was really pulling for him here. And there were a couple moments where I thought he really had it.
I thought he was going to win it. I thought either he would win it or the villain would keep the title.
See, I was okay with anyone but
But
Will Ospreay.
That's kind of how I felt. I was
Anyone
just
but
like,
Ospreay.
No, not Ospreay. But he, there's plans there. There's plans. So
Sorry, I didn't get to do it because this happened at least 20 times. I'm completely hyperbolic and exaggerating, but Oscar.
So yeah, I am a little more invested in the junior heavyweight.
I'm
after
interested
watching
to
this
see
match.
what happens from here on out because actually Ospreay, his contract was about up then, so I wonder if they
feel like we'll have
they let him have this title to
maybe
entice him to stay.
Maybe, and maybe we'll also get a quick title change out of this.
And I think the important thing in this match was that he actually pinned Marty for it. So, of course, in a fatal four-way, you can pin... First person to make a pin wins, but he actually pinned Marty. And I think to him, that was a really big point of what he wanted to do to show, I'm better than Marty Scurll. I don't choke every time I go up against him because in their rivalry, it's pretty much been Marty wins almost every time he goes up against Ospreay. So it was a nice way of having Ospreay sort of overcome that final obstacle that he keeps tripping over in the form of Marty Scurll. So I liked it. Like I said, I think everyone had really good moments in the match. Kushida when he broke Marty's finger, Ospreay countering a lot of Marty's moves and Marty countering a lot of Ospreay's moves. Takahashi's time bombs, breaking out when he was taped to the barricade, stuff like that. It was a lot of good stuff. It was a very quick 20-minute match. It went by really fast, and it was Really good character work for all of them.
Yeah.
The only real clear heel, of course, being Marty.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think really good work, really good spectacle from entrances to exits.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it a lot.
It definitely, like I said, it made me a little bit more invested in the junior heavyweight division. I think anybody that watches it will be invested in the junior heavyweight division.
If they weren't already.
If they weren't already from, here on out. And I expect either we'll get some really good matches and title defenses out of it. If Ospreay doesn't decide to sign back up with New Japan, we'll probably get a really quick title change, and it'll keep moving on.
I know there's an upcoming match to sort of digress a little bit, but there's an upcoming match between Will Ospreay and Pete Dunne. That's going to be for
interesting.
IUK, right? Or IWSUK or something. Yeah. So that's kind of exciting.
Yeah.
It'll be one of the few times a WWE champion goes up against a New Japan champion. It's happened a couple other times before.
Ospreay's definitely on WWE's radar too. So.
Yes. I mean, he has to be one of the top names, if not the top name, besides perhaps Ricochet for that cruiserweight division.
And I mean, if they're really
and
trying
the
to
UK
build
division.
up 205, this would be one of the names they would kind of need.
The aerial assassin himself.
Yeah.
All in purple.
Yeah. Next match.
So the next match was for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. That was Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jay White.
I was not familiar with Jay White that well.
So Jay White, they talked about it a little bit in the actual match, was the Young Lion. He did his time in specifically Ring of Honor. I was kind of underwhelmed. I wasn't as familiar with his stuff from New Japan prior to his excursion to Ring of Honor, but I was kind of underwhelmed with his performances in Ring of Honor with as part of Search and Destroy with Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. He didn't really impress me very much. But the story was when he was a young lion, he used to idolize Tanahashi. And that's what they talked about, right? Where he would always be looking up at Tanahashi, and then he went away and then came back and sort of had this chip on his shoulder of how he never felt like he got the acknowledgement or respect that he deserved from Tanahashi. So now he's coming back to, beat it out of him. And so that was the setup for this match. I felt like it was a little rushed. But that's probably because I wasn't as familiar with his work as a young lion.
Yeah, I wasn't either. And
this was a little bit of a rough match.
It's Billy Kidman and Chris Benoit's love child. And that works for me. Because he does have a presence, in the ring.
And, he has a really good aesthetic as far as how he moves and how he presents himself.
I'm really happy to see other foreign nations represented. So, like, having New Zealand and Tonga and Samoa and all these places in Japan, it's really cool. So Jay White is from New Zealand.
Yes.
And
one of his finishers is a Kiwi Crusher.
Yeah. And I will say I was pretty impressed in this match, honestly.
It had to have been kind of rough to work through this match because Tanahashi right now is working through several different injuries.
Yeah.
So it kind of restricts what you are able to do in a match.
Yeah. But good match.
Yeah.
Nice
showcase, I think, for him. I was a little disappointed that he was not the one to win this match. But I didn't get it. I tried to get them.
Yeah, I kind of thought maybe with Tanahashi's injuries, they would kind of go that route
and just give him a breather.
Have Jay White take the belt. They did not, which I was fine with because he is so new.
Yeah.
In most regards, to New Japan. But I thought he had a great showing in this matchup. A lot of innovative moves. His finisher is basically Sister Abigail.
Yeah. I think it's called a Blade Runner?
Blade Runner, yeah. But it works, especially after he delivers all those elbows. He kind of puts him in
It's a
like
nice
a
combination.
ring of Saturn and just kind of elbows him. And yeah, thought he had it, but Tanahashi.
I thought he
pulled it
had
out.
it a couple times too.
Tanahashi went full blown
Sorry.
Cena Cyan and wins as Tanahashi always does.
Yeah, because he's the ace of New Japan.
But
Go away.
I'm not even as upset about that as I used to be because he's not like IWGP heavyweight champion anymore. So it's good that he's taking a step down.
I'm not coming out.
You're not?
I'm gonna pass this to you and you can pass this to Andrew.
Okay. You got a special announcement.
You can cut it out.
But I want to keep the whole thing.
Or you can just cut it out and put and color it and put it into a wrestling figure.
Okay. Thank you.
So
And it's actually an emoji.
So yeah, it was very good showing for Jay White. For me, who wasn't very familiar with him, after seeing this match, I was like, oh, okay.
A little bit more of a
like this
believer.
kid.
Yeah.
I think most people felt the same way. Yeah.
Anyway, the next match was probably the
Most hyped.
most hyped match. And I don't think it let anyone down.
I don't think so. It was definitely a different match than
I think
everything
what-
else that was on the card.
And I think it was very different from what I was expecting going in.
Well,
I wasn't really sure what I was expecting.
some of the stuff, it seemed like it turned the match turned, or not the match, but the build up turned personal after they were attacking each other and everything.
Yeah.
So the match made sense story wise.
So it was the no disqualification match for the IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion. So that was Chris Jericho, the Alpha, versus Kenny Omega.
The Omega.
The Omega. Alpha versus Omega. I liked... Okay, one thing I want to bring up really fast. I liked how Jericho's trunks had Alpha on them instead of Jericho. Or Goat. Alpha this time. I noticed that immediately and I was like, huh, there it is.
I
Perfect
think
commitment. I respect it.
for this match to even be as good as it was as like this no DQ match, especially considering Goto versus Misu earlier in the card.
Was a no second chances death match.
Yeah, I mean, for them both to have worked is a huge testament to all the wrestlers involved. Because who would want to follow up Goto versus Misu and basically have the same type of match? So they had to do it a little bit differently. But it was a really good match. Of course, Kenny bladed.
Yeah.
Jericho got kind of busted open a couple times.
I know
He had this,
Jericho
like,
when he took that table spot, he cut like right under his by his thigh.
Yeah, like right under his ass cheek.
Yeah.
He had this huge gash, and I don't know if it went several ways or if it was blood.
I didn't
or...
notice it before because I thought maybe because
I saw it
because
stretched
Kenny was
down.
bleeding so much that I thought maybe some blood had smeared. But then I looked at it closer again when
But then
they
it
went
was,
back to it, and it was like
bleeding
no,
this way
it's like
too. So I don't know if it was cut different ways or. And the tables over there are so tiny. So
and they actually support all the way around rather than just having the legs just to stand.
Yeah. And then one of the chair shots or how he fell through on one of the chairs or something. Jericho had this huge knot like right on the side of his face.
Yeah.
And it looked like it was just getting bigger and bigger as the match went on. So, a good match. Lion Tamers, Walls of Jericho. I love the spots where like Kenny was down outside and Jericho got pissed and just started taking out everybody.
Yeah.
With Walls of Jericho.
Attacked Red Shoes and okay. And this might be terrible of me. I did not realize that Shota Umino was Red Shoes' son.
I didn't either.
Until they called it out and I was like, Shota's his son?
Yeah.
Shota's his like short circuited.
I did not know that. So yeah, I mean, really good match. God, I really don't know what else to say about it. I mean, it was a fun match. It might have went a little long for me.
I mean, I'm a huge Omega mark. So any second I can see Kenny Omega wrestling is a good second for me. It was longer than I expected.
Yeah, the one thing about this match was that in my opinion, there was no way Jericho was going to win.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
you know,
I
from a
think
booking
that took out a lot of the
takes a lot
the
from
excitement. But
I mean, if they
I
had
was
Jericho
surprised
win-
by other things. So I was like, maybe Jericho can have maybe like a week or two run, and be the person to have taken it away from Kenny, and have that
Well, I
even
mean-
though it's just for like a day or a week or something. He still
if they
has
had
that win.
Jericho win, I think I would have liked it even more, just because it would have been unexpected.
It would have been a huge twist. I don't think anyone would have called it.
Yeah. So I mean, that aspect, you know, if I already know how match is going to end for the most part,
It's not as exciting.
it's not as good. Yeah. Just because it's predictable, and this seemed predictable
But
to me.
see, the thing,
But
for me, so much of the card was a big surprise to me, where I thought I had called out what was going to happen, and I was totally wrong for half of it. So it's like, maybe Jericho wins here, and there were a couple of times where I thought maybe Jericho would steal it, and maybe it's like a secret plan that New Japan had. There were a couple times when Kenny was in the walls, especially close to the end, where they were just like, Kenny's out, and I was like, oh God, is Red Shoes gonna call it for Jericho?
the joy for me with seeing Jericho doing stuff now is he's wanting to give back.
Yeah.
You know, and if you listen to his podcast at all, like he talked with AJ Styles before Styles went to WWE, and he wanted to work with AJ. He was one of the very first people to work with AJ in WWE. I think that's basically why he came back to WWE,
One of the
was to
reasons,
work with AJ. And then, of course, we got Kevin Owens out of it, too. And this was one of his things. You know, he wanted to work with Kenny. Kenny's one of the top guys in the world. So he wanted to work with Kenny, and he did. And so I'm curious where things will go from here.
Yeah.
Especially as we continue on. We'll talk more about this.
Yeah.
But a good, you know, Kenny versus Jericho was a good match. Expected outcome, but a good reintroduction of Chris Jericho into New Japan. You know, for what seems to be could be the whole tour.
Yeah, and I mean, this is New Japan was where he cut his teeth when he was first up and coming.
When he was a young lion.
Yeah, exactly. And that was where he got the attention of the WWE. So I think this is also a lot of his giving back to the place where he really learned what it meant to be a professional wrestler, and what it, like, where he figured out what he needed to do to become the Jericho that we know today.
Yeah. Yeah, when he hit the lion salt, the place just
erupted.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, so it was fun. It was a fun match. Even like for Smarks, you know.
Yeah, and you heard chants from both sides. Kenny, Y2J, Y2J.
Yeah.
So it was nice to see the crowd get so engaged.
I want to go back and rewatch.
The whole thing.
Not the whole thing, but some of the bigger matches. When I watched the first group, it was in Japanese, which is so much better than the American commentary for some reason.
Don Callis was especially ridiculous this time, to the point where I just was like, Don Callis, get the hell out of here. Get the F.
From Tanahashi on, I watched the American commentary, and it kind of sucked a little something magical out of it. Like, you get some information, but I wasn't fond of the commentary.
Honestly, the match to watch for the English commentary, Kota versus Cody, screams, I tell you, because of how much time they spend talking about how hot Brandy is. Ugh. It's so funny to me. I love Brandy Rhodes, and I love that's a thing now.
You gotta have Matt Stryker on commentary for Japan. I mean, it's a must.
Stryker and Kevin Kelly. Actually, I would go Stryker and Steve Corino, but Steve Corino goes for
you know, I mean,
NXT
I really wish they would get Jim Ross full time for it. I think
just
once he got
TV.
his stride, yeah. I think
he was
and
great.
Matt Stryker would be really good.
His calling of Wrestle Kingdom 9, I want to say.
But Stryker is
great.
He's great for commentary for Japan.
He's great commentary
Amazing.
in general. But
Yeah. Anyway, we digress.
Yeah.
So
the
that
final
was,
match.
That was that in the last match.
The main event was the singles match for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. That was Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, versus Tetsuya Naito. I'm letting you do it. You had to do the whole thing. It's the...
Just, I'm gonna take my glasses.
Like I can see anyway. This match, the outcome of this, both surprised and did not surprise me. It surprised me in the sense that if there was ever going to be a time that was Naito's time,
that seems to be what everyone is saying, and that's how it really felt.
But
in some ways too, but
and I mean this is a great match.
You saw a lot. Biggest show for New Japan, possibly for wrestling in general. It's the biggest show. For them to take it off of Okada,
the place would have exploded.
It would have, but they typically don't. Like when Okada.
Well, you know who
Okada versus
books,
Tanahashi,
right?
Okada didn't win.
The biggest fanboy of Okada,
right.
Geto.
Yeah.
I like Okada. I have no problem with Okada. He's the one that's not as sold on Okada as I am.
I'm still not sold on Okada.
I like Kazuchika Okada.
I like him.
My dad's a huge Okada fan. My dad was going for Okada really hard during this match. Yeah. So I was Naito. I was Naito. My dad was Okada for this. And
you didn't hit a Stardust on your dad. Right off the couch.
I was like, my dad was also drunk, so that could have actually hurt. So,
he wouldn't have felt it.
So no,
if he was that drunk. Yeah, I really kind of was like, oh, they're gonna do it. They're gonna strap Naito here. But after it all, I was reading some, and a lot of people bring up a lot of good points.
Yeah,
is that they typically will not strap someone like this. And then they'll wait, and they'll go back, and
it'll happen at like Sakura Genesis or something.
Yeah, they'll have like everybody's, and I kind of agree with everybody's saying. They will take Naito win the New Japan Cup, and then go on to beat Okada. And I'm like, yeah, I could see that happening, but it would have been nice if they had broken tradition and strapped Naito at Wrestle Kingdom. It would have been really cool.
I mean, I don't think they would have lost any viewership.
I don't think so.
For strapping Naito then.
I think. All right. Well, let's just continue on.
Well, I mean, if
everything.
we're gonna split New Year's Dash into a different one because it's already almost an hour.
Well, let me just say this. I think if anything, they made the Naito fan base even more babyface.
Definitely.
Out of this.
Definitely.
Having him lose, and
I mean, it was interesting, and I mean, we had talked about this, but LIJ for the whole night was super over.
Super over, getting really strong reactions.
And then so I think my favorite non-reaction, I guess, was when Ospreay won. Mm-hmm. There was hardly any reaction, but throughout the whole match, every time Takahashi came close, the place would just lose it.
Yeah.
So it was very interesting to see them not pull the trigger on as much of LIJ, and I think if there was a time to have LIJ sweep, it would have been this year. Have Bushi win the New Japan Rumble, have Takahashi win the IWGP Junior Heavyweight. I mean, Yvonne Sonata won the Tag Team Championships, and then have have Naito win the big one.
It would have been nice. We will continue this talk on the New Year's Dash.
The New Year's Dash.